Some property analysts are expecting a modest rise of up to 10% in build-to-order housing applications this November. This follows the government's announcement that the household income ceiling will go up from $14,000 to $16,000. Experts say that bigger units and plus or prime properties could be affected.
These are what in the past we call this sandwich family. They actually not eligible for the BTO, and then private housing is too expensive. And with this raising of this income ceiling, this family now can actually consider BTO as one of the options. And this family, because of high income level, they probably will consider the plus and prime housing unit, or even the bigger unit in the BTO market.
Market watchers are also not concerned about BTO prices, which are government-controlled and based on factors like construction costs rather than eligibility. They also see room for prices in the resale market to ease, as the government is on track to exceed its target of 55,000 new built-to-order flats by 2027.
We might see a little bit shift of applicants for resale flat to move to the BTO flats. So this will actually reduce the pool of applicants for this retail sector. And at the same time, we are seeing an increase in supply of the resale flats due to many flats coming on stream due to the fulfillment of their minimum occupation period.
And recapping the housing measures announced at the National Day rally, more Singaporeans will qualify for subsidized housing with higher income ceilings and more ballot chances for families with children. The monthly household income ceiling for BTO flats has been raised from $14,000 to $16,000. Singles currently aged 35 and above will also see the income ceiling for BTO flats go up to $8,000. Income ceilings for new executive condominiums has been increased from $16,000 to $18,000 as well. Now, first-timer families currently get 2 housing ballot chances, or 3 if they are under the Parents and Married Couples Priority Scheme. From February next year, they'll receive 1 extra chance for every Singaporean child they have aged 18 and below across all BTO and sale of balance flats application. And here to share more about the thoughts behind these measures is National Development Minister Chee Minister, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Angela. Happy to be here.
We've just done a recap of the housing measures announced, but can you explain for us the rationale behind why these decisions were made?
Certainly. So the first move to increase the income threshold is to allow more Singaporean households to be eligible to apply for BTO flats, and also to qualify for housing grants when they apply for resale flats. So we make these adjustments from time to time because over time, incomes would have gone up. So to ensure that we have adequate coverage of about 8 in 10 Singaporean households, we do need to adjust our income thresholds from time to time. So this latest adjustment is to bring this coverage back to about 8 in 10 Singaporean households. And then for the second move on giving more balloting chances for first-timer families who are expecting or who have children, this is really to try and support our young families, young parents who want to have children, and they have greater assurance, a higher chance of being able to successfully ballot for a flat. And as you mentioned earlier, unlike the current measures where we give priority for people to apply for standard flats, this latest one, every child will get 1 extra ballot chance, and it's applicable to standard, plus, prime, and also sale balance flat.
And speaking of which, we just heard earlier the property experts say that these higher income ceilings could drive up the demand for both flats and ECs, but that may also make it harder to secure the choice flats. So what's your response to that analysis?
So that's why when I shared earlier about our plans, I said that for M&D family, we will have to build more and build faster. Because it's only when we have adequate supply of new flats that we are able to make these moves. When you raise the income threshold, indeed more people will be eligible. That's a good thing, because then there'll be more Singaporeans who can apply. But what it also means is that your supply must be adequate in order to meet this higher demand. So my colleagues in the MND family have been working very hard over the last few years. First under Minister Desmond Lee, and then when I took over, they continued this approach of building more, building faster, so that we are able to meet the housing aspirations of more Singaporeans. For resale flats, we are also seeing this stabilizing of the resale prices. And that's why recently I announced removing the 15-month waiting period for private property owners who want to buy a resale flat. They no longer need to wait 15 months. And this also gives us some confidence that because if you look ahead, the supply of resale flats will also increase this year compared to next year, that year after. It will keep increasing because there will be more flats that will reach the end of their minimum occupation period.
So what kind of impact do you think these measures will have on the resale market?
For resale market, I think Professor Loh mentioned earlier in his remarks that because more people will now be able to go to the BTO market, so that will take away some of the demand in the resale market. And because there will be more flats reaching the end of their MOP, and then more of them will come into the resale market, the supply of resale flats will also increase. So we hope that the combination of these two factors will help to keep resale prices stable. And for the BTO market, the commitment that we have made is that we will build at least 55,000 flats next 3 years. And I've also said previously that if the demand remains strong, for 2027, we will build even more so that we will exceed the 55,000. Looks like we likely would have to do that.
Well, you know, PM Wong has also asked you, Minister, to look into more housing support for large families. Can you tell us your considerations for these?
Yes, so there are a few aspects how we can support large families. First is, I think we will have to look at how we can increase the supply of larger flats, 5-room flats, and in more towns over Singapore, all over Singapore. The second one is that PM mentioned this because if you want to buy a larger flat, whether in the resale market or BTO flats, the price will be higher compared to a smaller flat. So to help these large families, we will also be exploring what are some of the ways to ensure that we give them some additional support to keep the prices of the larger flats more affordable for them. So this is something that my team and I will be working on, and when we are ready, we will share more with Singaporeans.
Yeah, and as Singapore's demographic changes, we see more and more singles who aspire to own their own homes as well. So what would you say to some singles who may listen to the measures announced and think that it might be a bit unfair for them?
Yeah, I can understand why there's some concern, but I want to assure our other groups of buyers, our singles and also our seniors, that the government will continue to build flats for you too. So earlier this year, I mentioned that we're going to increase the number of 2-room flexi flats by almost 50% over the next 3 years compared to the previous 3 years. So this is the first thing. The second thing is that we have been, for singles, looking at how we can adjust some of our rules to facilitate them buying BTO flats. So 2024, we made a change. Singles can apply for 2-room flexi BTO flats across different parts of Singapore, not just in previously what is known as a non-mature estates. Right? So now they can apply across different towns in Singapore. And last year, 2025, we allow a change in the rules for singles to qualify for the family care scheme. So if they want to live with or near their parents for mutual care and support, they can get priority access. Looking ahead, I've mentioned this previously, I will be reviewing the eligibility age for singles to be able to buy BTO flats. Today is 35. We're seeing how we can reduce that age for singles. We're also studying how singles who want to buy a larger flat together with their family members for mutual care and support, how we can allow them to do so. So these are some of the additional moves that we're looking at. Yeah.
Well, Minister, before we go, I want to ask, given that you are now looking at even tweaking eligibility requirements for these flats, do you think the housing supply has finally caught up after COVID?
Well, Angela, I first want to say that we had quite a lot of disruption during COVID. Many of the projects were delayed, but I want to pay tribute to Minister Desmond Lee and the team at MND and HDB. I think they worked really hard last few years and they caught up just in the early part of 2025. So they caught up with all the COVID delays. So when I took over at MND from Desmond, I was able to build on what he has done and work with my colleagues to see how we can take this further. And the additional supply of the new flats that we have built, including shorter waiting time flats, waiting time of less than 3 years. These have helped to reduce the waiting time for first-timer families. And because of the increase in supply, the application rates for first-timer families have also come down. During COVID, it was almost 7. It means 1 flat, 7 applicants. The latest one we are looking at for first-timer families, about 1.3 to 1.4. So it's come down significantly. And this means higher chance of a successful ballot, shorter waiting time. That's why we see more people now shifting to the BTO markets. And the demand for resale flats have also then sort of stabilized. To do this, Angela, I will need to continue to have a robust supply of new flats. And that's why when we look around different parts of Singapore, including in mature estates where children who grow up want to stay near their parents there, we also need to provide housing in these estates. It's not an easy task because Singapore, our land is very limited. So in some places, after exhausting all the available sites, the brownfield sites, we then have to go in to look at some of the sites that have greenery and heritage value. And the approach that we want to take is to try and preserve as much of the greenery and heritage as we can after doing the impact assessment. But we also want to make sure that we are able to develop so that we can meet the housing needs and aspirations of Singaporeans. Strike a balance. Yeah.
Well, Minister, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your thoughts with us
Thank
today.
you.
That was the National Development Minister, Chee.